4 minutes until airtime for this live show broadcast. Your next time cue will come with 3 minutes until airtime on the Georgia Southern Sports Network. Mark 3 minutes until airtime for this live show broadcast. Your next time cue will come with 2 minutes until airtime on the Georgia Southern Sports Network. Your next time cue will come with 2 minutes until airtime. Stations, if you encounter any technical issues related to this live show broadcast, please call our trouble hotline at 573-893-7477. Mark 2 minutes until airtime for this live show broadcast. Studio producers, when you hear, please start your archive recording. Your next time cue will come with 1 minute until airtime for today's live show broadcast on the Georgia Southern Sports Network. Stations, we are coming up on 1 minute until airtime. 1 minute in 5, 4, 3, 2, Mark. 1 minute, stations. 1 minute until airtime for this live show broadcast. Studios, when you hear, please start your archive recording. Coming up on 30 seconds until airtime, on my mark. Mark, 30 seconds. Your next and final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds. Have fun.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Georgia Southern Sports Network. On the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield, presented by Morris Bank, this is Hail Southern Live.
Glory to God and a bunch of great kids. Is college football not the best thing on earth?
Live at Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro. Hot wings, cold beer, and good times. Coming up, your all-access pass into Georgia Southern athletics, including a visit with head football coach Clay Helton.
Georgia Southern is championships. That's what this place was founded on. And the expectation and the standard each and every year is to compete and win championships.
Hail Southern Live is brought to you by Morris Bank. Bleed blue, bank blue. Morris Bank, member FDIC. The Georgia Lottery. Today could be the day. And by by Savannah Hilton Head International Airport and the Savannah Airport Commission. Make sure to tweet your questions to @GS Sports Network. Now let's head live inside Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro. Here's the voice of the Eagles, Danny Reed.
Eagle Nation, it is great to see you again back one more time at Wild Wing Cafe at Statesboro. This is Hail Southern Live, presented by Morris Bank on the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield. 60 minutes worth of Georgia Southern athletics talk. And how much fun was it last Thursday to watch Southern smash State 44-27 at Paulson? Eagles are 6-2, 3-1 in conference play. They got a big road trip coming up this weekend, going to San Marcos, Texas, taking on the Texas State Bobcats. That was moved up earlier today. That is a 5 o'clock Eastern start at Bobcat Stadium. We'll be live at 3 Eastern with the Cutwater Spirits tailgate show, start of a stretch where the Eagles will play 3 of their final 4 in the regular season on the road. We're going to have Coach Clay Helton on a little bit later on. Defensive end Isaac Walker currently leads the country with 5 forced fumbles. He came up with a half a sack last week and also blocked a field goal in that victory over Georgia State. If you have any questions tonight, feel free to submit those on Facebook Live. You can also tweet us at GS Sports Network. Start things off tonight with some Georgia Southern swimming and diving. They've had a really nice fall. Couple of players of the week. To talk more about that, second-year head coach of Georgia Southern swimming and diving, giving up for Allyson Sweeney tonight here at Wild Wing.
Thank you.
Very nice to have you. Appreciate the time tonight.
Yeah, no, I feel very honored. Thank you.
Now, you have a meet coming up this weekend up in Atlanta, one of your former stomping grounds, which we'll get to in just a moment.
Yep.
But you've been able to pack a lot into the last couple of months with competition,
Yes.
participating in Swim Across America, continuing to build your program in year 2.
Yes, it's been a whirlwind of an experience. I've officially come up on a little over a year now, having been here, heading into my second year here. So we've packed in, like you said, a lot in a very short period of time. I actually, when I remark about it with my ladies, having celebrated my 1-year anniversary, work anniversary, so to speak, they all think simultaneously, wow, it feels like just yesterday that I just got here, but also it feels like I've been here forever, right? So it's we all agree that it's kind of a mark or a testament of I'm right where I'm supposed to be.
It was actually in this very restaurant that you interviewed for this job, and that's a pretty cool full circle moment.
Yeah, right over there in the, we had dinner my first night here, so it was awesome.
With your experience in the Power 5 in North Carolina and Texas A&M, how have you taken that to try to build your own program in Statesboro?
There are a lot of different aspects and elements of all of the places I've been, whether it's A&M, UNC. I served as a volunteer at Auburn for a little bit, and I've got a lot of siblings who have been at a lot of different places as well. So the biggest thing for me has been about building a program that is value-based, right? The first one being, building this team camaraderie, what it means to be a part of a family, right? Developing great relationships within one another and our teammates. That sets the foundation, and then from there, really investing in and defining what excellence means, right? And because in our sport, and I think all sports in general, the lessons that we learn that really drive us to succeed in everything that we do transcend the boundaries of the playing field or the pool or the court and all of that. And to me, that's what's most important.
You're the oldest of 7.
Yes.
So was everybody in the household swimming and diving, or were there a lot of competing interests?
So to make a long story short, yes, we were all swimmers. Okay. All swimmers. All collegiate athletes as well. My youngest brother, Keenan, ended up being like the black sheep, quote unquote, of the family. Not really. He swam through high school, and he takes after more of my dad, who played football at Notre Dame. So my brother Keenan walked on at Auburn, spent 4 years there, undergrad, and then transferred to Notre Dame and finished his career there too. So my youngest sister is the only one who's still swimming. She's a junior at LSU.
As your building program, about 5 weeks ago, you participated in Swim Across America up in Lanier with Rob Butcher, a double eagle, whom we had on the Inside Eagle Nation podcast a few weeks back. To get back involved with something that helped raise $15,000 for cancer research, how cool was that for the group?
It was amazing. The Swim Across America event in Atlanta has been around for probably at least over 10 years, right? And it's something that I've been familiar with because Atlanta is where I call home, but it's never been an instance where I've been able to get back there and actually participate in the event myself. So I've got a handful of ladies who have done the event before, and my team is very heavily invested in giving back to the community and community service. And so to me, knowing that that's right up the road, like, it just seemed like a no-brainer. And quite frankly, when we committed to going to go do the event at Summitland, I hadn't quite met Rob yet. I didn't even know that he was, part of the family. So we, it was kind of this convergence of giving back to our community, kind of leaning hard into our values, but then learning that there's this Georgia Southern connection too. It was stars aligned. It was awesome. It was a lot of fun.
Now, in the pool, in regards to competition, Zuri Clavo was swimmer of the week earlier this fall.
Yep.
Carly Wells was diver of the week.
Yep.
You look for those team results, but to see that individually you've got your swimmers and your divers thriving, what has it meant in your second year?
Oh, that's a great question. It's what's been really fun about this year in particular is so much of what we did last year was about establishing the foundation across the board. Whether it's with training or values or our team culture, this year's about testing that value or that foundation, if that makes sense.
Sure.
And watching young ladies like Zuri and Carly be able to take the lessons that we kind of built upon last year, and both ladies went home for the summer and spent time with their family, and to see them come back fully recharged and almost charged anew of I'm going to go attack some even bigger goals and check some things off the list. Like, watching Zuri right now in practice is like, the girl just eats up yardage, and it's she's a distance swimmer, so she should, right? But she is bound and determined to accomplish some pretty lofty goals this year. So it's been fun to see right out the gate early on, especially early in the season when we're a little bit more tired, to see them kind of get after it.
Now, we're going to be talking Eagle football in just a couple of moments, but a great story on gseagles.com recently about your very own Abby Owensworth. Yes, she's been good in the pool, but played football in Canada.
Yeah.
That's an amazing story.
Isn't that crazy? When Trevor, who's my diving coach, started recruiting her and mentioned, like, yeah, this girl, this diver, she's really talented, really, really talented on the boards. She plays football for about a couple months up in Canada, of all places, right? And so we were joking, I think it was 2 weekends ago, because we were down on the field. We were like, Abby, you should go out there and see if Coach Helton will give you a ball. And then apparently she's got a heck of a long snap. So, I've not seen her do it myself, but I'd be hard-pressed to see her. That would be amazing.
All right, you've got the Emory Invitational this weekend, Friday and Saturday up in Atlanta. What are you going to be focused on to try to get your team a little bit better going into the next couple of weekends?
Yeah, so our next really, really big meet is about 2 weeks after that in South Carolina. Sure. So for us, Emory is a great, South Carolina for the swimmers, and then our divers are going to Liberty,
right,
which around the same time. But Emory is our first competition where we're all together this season. We haven't had an opportunity to all compete together yet, so that's going to be really fun. We've all had competitions kind of separately, but being able to be together as a team is going to be really important. At least from the swimming side of things, this is going to be an opportunity for us to kind of rest a little bit, see if where our training is at as we start to really rest a little bit further heading into the next 2 weeks. And we're going to be competing against some Division II and Division III teams who are actually really good. Emory on both sides has been national champions in the Division III level a couple of years in a row. So to me, it's a really great opportunity to get up and go compete against people we don't typically see on a normal basis. So it's about really just throwing caution to the wind and just getting after it, and not necessarily, the times per se.
How would you describe the level of conditioning that is necessary to do what these ladies do?
That is okay. So it's funny because I was remarking about this earlier today with my GA.
Okay.
We're both former Division I athletes, and I touch the water on occasion right now, but I can't. The fact that we used to do so much yardage and so much volume in the water,
yeah,
like, I miss it in a lot of regards, and also there are moments where I'm like, I'm good, right? Like, because it's a tough lifestyle. Like swimming and diving, we were up this morning. We lifted at 5:45. So we lifted for an hour, and then we went over straight away and hit the water for about an hour as well. And then all of us, we had a 2-hour practice session later this afternoon too. So that grind kind of never stops. So it's a lot, but I gotta, first off, if you love it, it makes it worth it.
Sure.
And I think we all do.
Coach, appreciate the time tonight. Good luck this weekend. Good
Thank
luck
you.
the next few weekends.
Yeah.
And you got the return of the Sun Belt Championships. They were sponsoring the swimming and diving championships
Yes.
again this coming up spring. So best of luck there as well.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Head swimming and diving coach Allyson Sweeney to get things going tonight here at Wild Wing Cafe. When we come back, we'll bring up the big horse, Clay Helton. We'll talk about Georgia State and preview Texas State. Defensive end Isaac Walker coming up as well. This is Hail Southern Live from Wild Wing Cafe on the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield.
Hey, Georgia, it's John Crow. Want a chance to win $500 instantly just by playing Fantasy 5? Well, now through November 26th, that can happen. Just look for the prize symbol on your ticket and listen for this sound.
You're a winner.
Well, there you go. You just won $500 instantly. How cool is that? There'll be 150 winners every week. It could be you. It all happens now through November 26th. So go play during the Fantasy 5 $500 cash giveaway only from the Georgia Lottery. Play responsibly.
Eagle Nation, this is William Martin from Southern Exchange Company. We're proud to always bring you the best selection of Georgia Southern gear for game day and every day. Make sure to stop by and visit us at our store across from campus on Chandler Road or online at southernexchangecompany.com. Follow Southern Exchange on social media at SXC Statesboro for the latest gear in stock. Southern Exchange Company, the official merchandiser of Georgia Southern Athletics.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
The sweet smell of victory and grilled burgers still hang in the air. Your tailgate was a big win thanks to your Ford F-150 truck. With available Pro Power on board, you used your F-150 as a mobile generator. That kept the celebration going long after the final whistle. See your local Ford dealer and score a great offer on F-150. Greatness starts here. See owner's manual for important operating instructions.
Eagle Nation, don't miss the final home game of the regular season, Saturday, November 18th for Senior Day versus Old Dominion as we celebrate Ag Day. Call 1-800-GSU-WINS or visit gseagles.com/tickets. Watch the blue and white one more time inside the prettiest little stadium in America. Celebrate Ag Day on Saturday, November 18th versus Old Dominion as we honor the 2023 senior class. Call 1-800-GSU-WINS or visit gseagles.com/tickets. Eagle Nation, tune in to Inside Georgia Southern Football each Monday, 11 a.m. on ESPN Plus, and watch locally on WJCL Saturday at 11:30 a.m. Our weekly 30-minute dive into Eagle football features head coach Clay Helton looking back at the week before and previewing the week ahead. It's football season, and your inside look is each Monday, 11 a.m. on ESPN Plus and Saturdays at 11:30 on WJCL. Inside Georgia Southern Football with head coach Clay Helton. Don't miss it.
The passion.
He's going to take it to the house. Dinner's cooking. Touchdown.
The fury.
Getting blitzed. Down he goes.
The speed.
40, there he goes. Down the sideline.
Western college football.
For the end zone. Got it for 6 points. You can unhitch the wagon. Put the ponies in the barn. Back to the end zone. 30, 20.
This is the College Football Bliss. Listen all season long on College Sports Now on the Varsity Network.
College sports fans now have access to hundreds of weekly podcasts that zero in on the college sports world. Now available in the Varsity Podcast Network and part of the new Varsity app. The app is free and available from wherever you get your favorite apps. Download the Varsity app today to have access to hundreds of national podcasts as well as your favorite team-focused podcasts. The Varsity Podcast Network, now available for free on the Varsity app. Download from the App Store and listen today.
Sides. First time they've done that tonight. Trip receivers, right foot in the slot. The snap. Panthers bring the house. Bryn gets rid of it. It's Cobb instead makes the catch to the 40. Kicks out of an ankle tackle from behind. 50 weaves his way back out to the 40. Stumbles 30. Still going 20. Bring another tackle. 10, 5. Jalen Cobb all the way home. An electrifying 76-yard receiving touchdown for Dalen Cobb, the first of his career, first career 100-yard game for the sophomore en route to a 44-27 victory as Southern took down State this past Thursday night at Paulson Stadium. 6-2 the record, 3-1 in conference play as the Eagles head to San Marcos, Texas this Saturday, 5 o'clock Eastern kickoff. We're live at 3 p.m. Georgia Southern versus Texas State. Appreciate the time of swimming and diving head coach Allyson Sweeney first. First segment, we'll turn the page to Eagle football. Eagle Nation, please welcome in the big horse, Clay Helton, to Wild Wing Cafe. We've got to start with something fun. I know that tomorrow's Halloween, but you guys had your Halloween celebration yesterday. Now, you told me what you were going to dress up as, but you got to tell everybody else what you dressed up as.
Well, I have a boss too, and that's Miss Angela, my wife. So it goes Kyle Marrero, Jared Benko, and Miss Angela in that order. And so I get to, I guess you say, I was Travis Kelce and she was Taylor Swift yesterday in our family. In our family, she looked a lot more like Taylor than I did like Kelce. I can promise you that.
Easy to have fun after a big win on Thursday, too.
Yeah, definitely. I tell you, it's something we've always done with our football families is, you know, a lot of times as coaches, you don't get to go out and trick-or-treat with your kids on Halloween because it's usually in game week. And so we've always done it on Sunday night. The kids and the wives come up. We dress our office doors up and do trick-or-treating right there at the office. And I hope some of those pictures don't get out because there were some funny costumes between the coaching staff.
Can you share any of the other costumes for us?
My favorite one was probably Brian Ellis, who dressed up as Beach Ken Barbie. He was on a whole different levels, but his daughter was Barbie, and he decided to be Beach Ken, and it was a special look, to say the least.
All right, from a football perspective, having that 2 extra days after a Thursday game this late in the season, how does that most benefit a football program?
Oh, I tell you, you play 2 games, you know, basically in 10 days. And, you know, to be able to, one, win the game and win a rivalry game, but to come out injury-free, that was another win, especially as you enter November. You and I both remember what this time period was last year and where our team was from an injury standpoint, from a depth standpoint.
Yep.
And one of the things I said coming into this season, we were a more talented, deeper team this year, and you can feel it now. You know, instead of guys having to play 60, 70, 80 plays with one depth, we're able to split time in a 2 deep, 2.5 deep, where guys are getting 30 to 40 plays and playing extremely fresh and fast. And to be able to have those extra 2 days before going back-to-back road games, really, really important for our team.
We covered a lot of ground earlier today in the press conference, also on Inside Georgia Southern Football, but this is something that didn't come up. We'll go to Twitter for a question from Sidelines. A game against your in-state rival produced the fewest penalties of the season. How proud are you with your team's composure and preparation on a short week?
Yeah, it's something we talked about in our keys to victory as a football team that, you know, usually with 18 to 22-year-olds, as emotions go up, intelligence comes down.
Sure.
And in rivalry games, the emotions are at its highest. And, you know, we said there was a mental discipline that was going to happen and a mental toughness that was going to happen, that we weren't going to trash talk. We weren't going to make those poor decision penalties. We were going to talk with our pads and talk with our production. And, yes, I'm extremely proud of the boys because they do exactly what you say. They stay disciplined for 60 minutes, focusing on their job and nothing else, because the most important thing is to go win the game and go win the game right, and that's what they did.
You've been able to put forth a lot of positivity in the first halves of games this year. The first 4, it seemed like it was maybe the first or second drive where you were either scoring on the first drive or was forcing the 3 and out. I know Coach Bailey takes a lot of pride in that, but the last 2 games in the second quarter, it's been those big outbursts against ULM, against Georgia State, outscoring the opponent 41-7 in the second quarter the last 2 weeks. What have you noticed when that switch has been flipped?
It all goes back to the defense. You look at both those 2 quarters and the turnovers and the field position that was created. You know, defensively, you look at 3 turnovers, 4 punts, a missed field goal stop, an out on downs, 9 drive stops in that game against an unbelievable offense. And those turnovers and drive stops coming especially in the second quarter, allowed us to get up 27-7 going into half.
We're going to talk with Isaac Walker in a little while, but he has been one of those playmakers. 5 forced fumbles going through 8 games. That's number 1 in the country. He's recovered 2. Both of those were sack fumbles that he forced. And he's also put forth 5 sacks, which is number 7 in the conference.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, he's playing ball on a national level right now. One of the top defensive players in our conference, one of the top players, in my opinion, in the country, really playing at a high level of consistent football.
That morning, that Thursday morning, as you were on the lake and the sun was coming up over the pines, you challenged the students. I know these crowds have been phenomenal all season long, but to actually see the result of you challenging them, what were your thoughts when you came out and saw how many had answered your challenge?
Just a sense of pride and thankfulness and gratitude for a community and a student base that loves this football team. I've said this so often. You know, usually when you see a football program, a university has created that program. Here, the community created this football program. The community brought forth and said, hey, we're going to build a team. And since that point, there's been this ultimate pride. And when you go amongst the other schools in our conference and other places in Group of 5, you don't experience what is in Statesboro, Georgia. When you walk, the reason that it's so hard is you have not been in that realm yet. You haven't been where there is 10,000 students right at your back, and they are on top of you every second. And that's different when you go to other places. And so when teams come in and they feel that, there is a shock and awe factor that happens, especially on third down. So I am extremely humbled, extremely grateful. Our team is too. And I'm going to tell you, we feel it. I mean, we feel it when you're on the field. And there's a big reason why we're 5-0, and it has to do with our community and our student base.
To do what you guys did Thursday night national television against a rival with as clogged as the East Division was and still is, it's going to be a fight to the finish these last 4 weeks. There was a lot of importance on that game than just having more points than they did, and you seemed to pull through in just about every way.
Yeah, it's really important on a lot of factors. One, it's a rivalry game. Obviously, there's emotions there. 2, it's an in-state rival, so you're talking about recruiting bases too. But also to see a consistency and a progress of a program. You know, to be able to get to postseason play for the back-to-back years, to put yourself in contention, you know, for a possible championship if you do your job in November. You know, those are all things that we want as a program, and we've worked tirelessly for over the last year and a half. Now it's about being so mentally disciplined and mentally tough to be able to say, I'm not going to look a month down the road. I'm going to look at the current opponent and try to go, and I know it's coaching cliche, I use it every week, but just try and fight as hard as we can to go 1-0 this week against a really good Texas State football team that's doing a hell of a job under Coach Kenny.
Take a question before we go to our next timeout from Lance on Twitter. How would you compare the 3 phases of the Georgia State game to the Ball State game?
You know, obviously, I think Georgia State is a better football team. Having played them, having watched them, you know, we in both games, I thought we won all 3 phases.
Sure.
And it was probably our most complete game against the best opponent. You're talking about a 6-1 Georgia State team that had weapons all over the field. Defensively, I thought their defensive front is one of the better ones in our conference. And we said on Friday in the Keys to Victory, we were not going to be able to win this game and only win 2 phases. We were going to have to win all 3 phases at a high level to be able to get this done. And the team took that to heart, and they went out and did it.
Hail Southern Live is brought to you in part by Georgia Power. Georgia Power, a Southern company. We'll talk more about state, preview the other state, and speak with defensive end Isaac Walker a little bit later on. Hail Southern Live continues from Wild Wing Cafe on the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield.
Wild Wing, I think I love you. Hey, Eagle Nation, this is Terry Harvin from the Georgia Southern Sports Network. Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro is your true blue home for hot wings, cold beer, and good times. Owned and operated by a proud Georgia Southern grad, Wild Wing Cafe is the official home of Hail Southern Live, the Eagles' weekly sports show every Monday night starting at 7 p.m. Whether it's for lunch, dinner, catering, or takeouts, you'll say the same thing I do every time. Wild Wing, I think I love you. Go Eagles and go Wild Wing.
Your cargo transportation choice in Savannah and the Southeast. For freight management, consolidation, warehousing, and more, including flexible and responsive drayage solutions. Your success is our final destination. Savannah Logistics Group.
A logistics company that strives to deliver the best drivers, employees, and customer experience through our core values of empowerment, innovation, and consistency. Savannah Logistics Group, a proud supporter of Georgia Southern Athletics.
On game day, success starts with a great game plan. No matter if you're at home or on the road, greatness starts here with the Ford F-150 truck. Delivering a rare combination of power and smart technology like the available class exclusive Pro Power onboard, Ford F-150 helps make great things possible. See your local Ford dealer and score a great offer on F-150. See owner's manual for important operating instructions. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds. GVWR.
What's up, fans? This is Roddy Jones, co-host of College Sports Now. We're breaking down all the action from around the country weekly with new episodes dropping 4 days a week during the football season. We'll look beyond the box score and keep our finger on the pulse of college football from September all the way to the national championship game in January, from the East Coast to the West Coast. Listen all season long on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you love to get your podcast. And while you're at it, be sure to give us a follow along on Twitter @CSNowTweets.
Which schools will take home the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup for the 2023-24 college athletic season? You can follow the standings of your favorite school or alma mater at L Directors Cup on Twitter and online at thedirectorscup.com. That's thedirectorscup.com and L Directors Cup on Twitter. Trophies will be awarded in June 2024 to the winning institutions in all competitive divisions. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
Hey Eagle fans, this is Jared Benko. Renew your basketball season tickets today to watch Charlie Henry's first season leading the Eagles. Prices start at $100 for general admission and $150 for upper reserve. Reserve yours by calling 1-800-GSU-WINS or visit gseagles.com/tickets. Parking passes this season are also available to Earth Russell Fund donors for $100. Experience Georgia Southern basketball in its final full season at Hanner Fieldhouse. Renew your season tickets today. 1-800-GSU-WINS or gseagles.com/tickets.
This is Hail Southern Live, powered by Learfield, live at Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro. Here's Danny Reed.
Hail Southern Live continues from Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro, just off of Fair Road. Another segment with head coach Clay Helton before we welcome up defensive end Isaac Walker. Eagle Nation, we do remind you that Hail Southern Live will take place this same time, this same place next week. It'll be internet only, so you can still listen on the Varsity Network app and tune in on Facebook Live and YouTube Live, because Eagle men's basketball, they start the 2023 season 1 week from tonight. 7:30 tip-off up in Atlanta against the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets from McCamish Pavilion. We'll be live at 7 courtside with the Cutwater Spirits countdown to tip-off. Isaac Walker, again, is coming up in just a few moments. And, Coach, we've been talking about him that lately it seems you can't keep him away from the football, whether it's sacks, it's forcing fumbles, being a positive influence for the rest of this team. His ascent has been rapid.
Yeah, he's made me greedy. Every time he's out there, I'm expecting a huge play.
Well, last week, first play he's in, he gets a sack in the second quarter.
It was tremendous. I tell you what, he's playing such at a high level, all-conference player, and one of the best players nationally, I think, in the country right now. Playing so well for our football team. He's one of the big reasons we sit here 6-2.
You forced 3 turnovers against Georgia State, and we talked in detail about those earlier today. There was one common theme with all of those turnovers, and I know this is going to surprise everybody in the restaurant, but somehow Marquez Watson-Tread was involved with all 3. Had the pick six, one of the tips on Stampley's interception, then forced the fumble at the end that Kadri recovered.
Yeah, you know, Mar's playing so well right now and has been consistently in every game, and just seems like he's making some type of big play, whether it's 14 tackles, 2.5 for loss, making turnovers, scoring non-offensive touchdowns, which is my favorite play in football. He's doing it all right now, and he's having one of those All-American seasons. He really is, so proud for him.
Only one guy in the conference has more tackles than Marquez since the start of last year, and Georgia Southern's going to see him in 3 weeks in Statesboro. That, of course, is the All-American for Old Dominion, Jason Henderson. Did get a question come in on Twitter. This about Davis Brin. We can talk a couple about him because he's going back home this weekend. What are the coaches doing to do different in this important road game to help settle him down and avoid another multi-interception effort?
Yeah, you know, you look at that multi-interception happened versus James Madison, happened versus Wisconsin, two of our losses on the the road. And a lot of times what happens to a quarterback, you look at both of those games, and we got down in those games.
Yeah.
And sometimes a quarterback will start to force things to try to get back in it. And one of the things to be able to get back in it is just making one good decision at a time. Just one completion, being able to stay in the game like it's 0-0. And I think that's the biggest thing Davis has learned is, no matter what period of time it is in the game, is just the proper decision-making, getting it out on the right time with accuracy is the key to success, and don't force things. Try to treat it like it's 0-0. He's the ultimate competitor. I said this after the game. All the good ones I've ever been around have no conscience. They can't remember the last one they threw, and sometimes it's important to remind them. But that's what we're here for as coaches, and we'll be able to get that done.
He's going to need a lot of passes this weekend because Champion High School in Bernie, Texas is only about an hour away from San Marcos. You had a chance to do something similar when you were at Auburn because in the SEC you went back to Gainesville, University of Florida in 1992. So from a standpoint of going somewhere else collegiately but a chance to go back to where you grew up, what is home, what kind of mindset is necessary to attack that?
I remember when I was his age. I mean, I was going back to my birthplace and playing at Auburn, going back to Gainesville, Florida, where my dad was in the Hall of Fame at U of F.
Yeah.
And my family being there, you just remember how special it is. And, I'm so happy for him. Here's a young man that believed in us and came all the way to Statesboro, Georgia, away from what he knew to go be successful and help our football team. And now he gets rewarded by having the chance to go home in front of friends and family and play this game at a very, very high level. And so proud for him. Can't wait for him to have that experience. Anybody
Knows in this room that if you go from Texas to Statesboro, Georgia, you got to go through Tulsa, Oklahoma. It only stands to reason.
No question. We're so happy that we were able to acquire Davis from Tulsa and looking forward to what he has in future over the next 4 games.
The options he has to throw to, and look, we could spend an entire show on Caleb Hood and Derwin Burgess. I start with those two because they have 115 combined catches through 8 games. No 2 teammates in the country have more through 8 weeks in the season. But 2 other guys that showed out. We already heard the highlight from Dalen Cobb, his 76-yard touchdown. But Marcus Sanders had 2 enormous catches, including that 30-yard score at the end of the second quarter.
Yeah, it's so important, and we talked about it as an offense and as a team that, at some point in time, people are going to say, okay, we're going to try to eliminate Caleb and Derwin. Well, that can't happen when the other 3 skill players are playing at a very high level.
Yep.
You got Jalen White with back-to-back 100-yard games, and we really needed 2 other wideouts to step up. We've seen that with Anthony Queeley sometimes. We've seen that with Jalen Barden. Now all of a sudden you get a healthy Dalen Cobb back. You get Marcus Sanders and his opportunity, and both of them made the most. A 100-yard game, first one for Dalen, a huge explosive touchdown there to be able to spark our team on a critical 3rd down. And then for Marcus Sanders, who really has been waiting in the wings, working extremely hard, being a great teammate. All of a sudden he gets his opportunity to start, and he makes 2 huge plays, one for a touchdown in that game. Couldn't be more proud. That makes you a more dangerous offense. When you have all 5 skill players and you can't double just one of them and stop the offense, that's a hard day.
And having a healthy Jalen White back cannot be understated. He has touched the ball 55 times the last 2 games. And from a play calling standpoint, mentioned this a little bit earlier, but it's actually balanced out the offense. You've run the ball more the last 2 games than you've thrown, and you've been able to say that this year.
Yeah, when we came into the season, I said that the best secret on this and the best key to success is Jalen White.
Yep.
He's our key. And then all of a sudden you look up and he's injured and OJ's injured. And then we get back for James Madison, and you didn't quite know where they were at. And I saw a spark in Jalen. I was like, oh, my gosh, he's back. And so we went into that next game saying, hey, he's got to touch the ball 25 times. Well, he touched it 29. He touched it 26 this past week. It provides us so great balance. And a quarterback's best friend is a good run game and a good running back right beside him. And it allows you to all of a sudden have those one-on-one coverages that open up the wideouts. And now you've got a 100-yard rusher and you've got a 330-yard passer, and that's balance.
I didn't even think about that. 330-yard passer, 100-yard rusher, 100-yard receiver. That's a nice offensive performance to beat Georgia State. We do need to hit a break, but real quickly, be remiss if we didn't bring up Michael Lance going 3 for 3, making all of his kicks against Georgia State earlier today, named Sun Belt Conference Special Teams Player of the Week.
Yeah, so proud for Mike. You know, he was in a fierce battle last year, didn't win that battle, said, you know what, Coach, I'm just going to keep on competing, keep on getting better. This season, he wins that job, and, man, has he performed, both in kickoffs as well as field goals. So proud for him. Those 9 points were big in the game, and proud of his production right now.
A great beard, a great player. He's coming up next. Isaac Walker, defensive end out of Greensboro, North Carolina. That'll be after this timeout. It's Hail Southern Live from Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro on the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield.
Don't let an injury keep you on the sidelines. So go where the pros go. Optum Orthopedics. They're the official orthopedics and team physicians for Georgia Southern Athletics. Thanks to Optum, our Eagles get the best care on and off the field. The good news is that Optum is here for you too. Located in our community, Optum is the leader in advanced orthopedic care throughout the Southeast. Like the Eagles, you deserve the freedom to soar. With Optum's fellowship-trained orthopedic surgeons, you will. Your team, your community, your freedom. Optum Orthopedics, they're here for you.
Did you know that Yancey Rents is a Georgia-owned rental company serving Georgia since 1914? Yancey Rents has excavators, dozers, backhoe loaders, small dump trucks, water trucks, concrete saws, light towers, scissor lifts, and so much more. We've got a huge selection of equipment ready to be rented today. Call 844-YNC-RENT or check us out at yanceyrents.com. With 16 locations around the state and a new expanded lineup of equipment ready to be rented right now, Yancey Rents wants to be your preferred rental supplier in Georgia.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Eagle Nation, don't miss the final home game of the regular season, Saturday, November 18th for Senior Day versus Old Dominion as we celebrate Ag Day. Call 1-800-GSU-WINS or visit gseagles.com/tickets. Watch the blue and white one more time inside the prettiest little stadium in America. Celebrate Ag Day on Saturday, November 18th versus Old Dominion as we honor the 2023 senior class. Call 1-800-GSU-WINS or visit gseagles.com/tickets.
Wild Wing, I think I love you. Hey, Eagle Nation, this is Terry Harvin from the Georgia Southern Sports Network. Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro is your true blue home for hot wings, cold beer, and good times. Owned and operated by a proud Georgia Southern grad, Wild Wing Cafe is the official home of Hail Southern Live, the Eagles' weekly sports show every Monday night starting at 7 p.m. Whether it's for lunch, dinner, catering, or takeouts, you'll say the same thing I do every time. Wild Wing, I think I love you. Go Eagles and go Wild Wing.
Hey Eagle fans, this is Jared Benko. Renew your basketball season tickets today to watch Charlie Henry's first season leading the Eagles. Prices start at $100 for general admission and $150 for upper reserve. Reserve yours by calling 1-800-GSU-WINS or visit gseagles.com/tickets. Parking passes this season are also available to Irk Russell Fund donors for $100. Experience Georgia Southern basketball in its final full season at Hanner Fieldhouse. Renew your season tickets today. 1-800-GSU-WINS or gseagles.com/tickets.
Which schools will take home the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup for the 2023-24 college athletics season? You can follow the standings of your favorite school or alma mater at L Directors Cup on Twitter and online at thedirectorscup.com. That's thedirectorscup.com and L Directors Cup on Twitter. Trophies will be awarded in June 2024 to the winning institutions in all competitive divisions. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
Hail Southern and GATA.
At Georgia Southern, we have a rich basketball tradition to live up to.
It's a dream come true for me personally.
The Charlie Henry era begins Tuesday, November 6th at Georgia Tech. Network coverage starts at 7 on the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield.
Clean up in the dunk at 4-0-3. Spins and Abson goes the reverse. Man, what a move by Carlos Curry. Shot fake 3 with 1. Yes, from the left wing. Left, second to go out of the gun at the 5, 3 minutes into the half. The snap, Granger fakes to Carroll, one of 5 sacks that he's posted in 2023, in addition to 5 forced fumbles and 2 fumble recoveries. Hail Southern Live continues from Wild Wing Cafe. Eagle Nation, we remind you about the Georgia Southern Bleeds Blue Blood Drive taking place tomorrow at Gene Bishop Fieldhouse from 12 to 7. You can sign up on social media. Brought to you by the Blood Connection, your community blood center. Again, 12 to 7 tomorrow at Bishop. Sign up online via social media, Facebook and Twitter. Links are up to go to Bishop and give blood, thanks to the Blood Connection. We talked about him, now we talk to him. Eagle Nation, welcome in defensive end Isaac Walker to Hail Southern Live. They taking good care of you over there?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. It's always a great time with Eagle Nation.
I've talked with Coach Helton a lot about you. I've talked with Coach Bailey a lot about you. I know that there's a lot of hard work that has gone into the success you've had this year, but it seems that you've improved so quickly, putting up numbers, making plays. How have you felt things go in your direction so much?
Really, it was just the off season and really prepping mentally. Like I said before when we had our first interview, it was all mental for me.
Yeah.
I knew I had the talent to make plays, but I didn't necessarily know what I was doing on the field at all times. And this year, it was just about doing my assignment and being in the right place at the right time.
Going from outside linebacker to rush end, what kind of transition has that been?
It's been, man, it's been great. I feel like on the edge, you know what I'm saying, you're around the ball a lot more. So I try to make it a point every time I get to the quarterback to get that ball out and make a big play for our team. So it's been great.
Now, I've talked to you specifically about this twice this year. You not only have made a sack, but you've also forced a fumble and then recovered that fumble. So to do all 3 parts at the same time, to be locked in enough to make sure that all 3 parts happen, what does that take?
I mean, you got you have to have a different intention when you come into the game. You want to make a play for your team you want to make a play for your team to come in and have an advantage in any way you can. So every time I go out after the quarterback, I'm punching at the ball.
You had your first pick last year against Morgan State. You've had about 4 others. A chance at 4 others this year. I feel like you're going to get one at some point.
Yeah, hopefully.
But overall, you've broken up 6 passes, whether that's dropping back in coverage or knocking them down at the line of scrimmage. You had 2 of those against Georgia State. Having the awareness to make those plays, what's necessary?
Well, I used to play receiver. I mean, nobody would know that because I dropped every ball that comes my way. But you know, it's just having a knack for the ball and just having that natural playmaking ability. Like I said before, just being in the right place at the right time, that's what I was focused on this year, and hopefully it's been going good. So,
all right, receiver was not your first position. If we go way back, this makes sense because you're always around the football. You played center.
I sure did.
How did that happen?
Man, I was like a little short, chubby dude, man, when I first started playing football. You know, my dad was kind of making me play at first. I didn't want to play. They had us running hills the first day of practice, and I was like, man, I'm not trying to do this anymore. I was like, forget this. But my dad just kind of kept me in the sport, and started getting tall and lanky and skinny, so started playing receiver a little bit. So.
What helped you enjoy football more?
The team, man, the team aspect of it. Like, even though I didn't enjoy football, like I enjoyed going to practice and laughing with my friends and just having a good time, man. It's really just the team aspect.
Okay, when you started playing, did you think that you'd be doing it in college, and did you think that you'd be a defensive end at some point in your life?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely. I honestly, like I said before, I didn't want to play at all. So playing in college was definitely not on my mind at all. So I didn't want to play.
Coach Bailey told me this after the UAB game. At halftime, you had to get your eye stitched up?
I sure did.
What happened? What happened?
Man, I don't even know. I think, my helmet came off one of the plays, and the tackle just kept blocking me. I was kind of stopping because, you know, you can't keep playing when your helmet comes off.
Right.
And busted my eye open. I had to go get stitches at halftime, but I wasn't worried about the stitches at halftime. I was actually trying to get them to go get my coach to tell me what the game plan adjustments were while they were giving me stitches. And I'm like, let's get back out there. My adrenaline was running. I ain't care about no stitches, man. I'm trying to go play.
As part of your improvement, the team has recognized that you were the number 0 for Wisconsin. What did that mean to get that honor?
Oh, it's a big honor. I seen the guys that came before me that wore it, Dylan Springer, J.E. Those are guys that I look up to. So just getting a number 0 was a big deal for me. I wanted to do a little bit more in it, but it is what it is. We move on.
You guys just faced a high-powered offense last Thursday. You're going to get the #1 total offense and scoring offense in the league on Saturday. It all goes through the quarterback, T.J. Finley, played at LSU, played at Auburn, second in the league in passing behind Davis. But the fact that he's 6'7", 260, have you ever seen a quarterback that big? And as a defender, what is it like facing a quarterback that's that big?
I don't think I have. I really don't. But, you know, like I said on the field, your adrenaline's running. Like, nobody height or size really matters when you're in there. You're like, man, I got to go hit somebody. Like, forget it. So, but, nah, I don't think I played a quarterback that big. That's a pretty big dude. Do
you remember the biggest quarterback you've seen? I asked Kadri this earlier today. He said he hasn't seen anybody that big either.
I haven't either. Not like, whoa, like this dude's a giant. But, nah, I haven't. I have to think a little more on that question. I don't know yet.
All right. Spirit of the holiday season with tomorrow being Halloween. Yes, I was saving this for you. Did you dress up last night, or have you had a favorite Halloween costume?
I did not dress up last night. I'm actually a very boring person. I was in the house. I was actually watching film on Halloween. So everybody was out, like, Ike, were you coming out? Didn't have a costume. So, but my favorite costume, like ever, like that I ever wore. Yeah. I think I was like Kobe Bryant when I was little.
Okay.
But that, I mean, it's not really a costume. You just wore the jersey and just being a sports dude. You know what I'm saying? I never really wore a costume though. So.
Are you a Mamba mentality guy?
Yeah, I'll say it. Yeah. Yeah. I like to smile though. You know, Kobe doesn't really smile. I like to have fun. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I would have thought you might have dressed up as a rapper because I understand you try to rap a little bit too.
How do you dress up as a rapper? You put a whole bunch of chains on it?
It's your costume. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know how to dress up as a rapper, you know. I mean, I rap with slides on, so, you know. I don't know how to dress up as a rapper, honestly. But I might have to do that in the future, though.
Have you written any music, or you just freestyle around?
Nah, man, just writing down the game plan, just the plays. Okay. Just worry about football, you know, school type deal.
Being an honor roll student now, in addition to what you've done on the field, Coach says all the time, when your life is right, your ball is right. And to see both things at the same time, that's got to be pretty cool to see that there's some validity to that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when I first got here, my grades weren't that good. I didn't really feel how I usually feel, like about school, about football, about everything. And he's right. When your life is right, your ball is right. And I got my life right off the field, and things started happening for me on the field. And I appreciate Coach Helton for giving me an opportunity to go do that.
To see what you guys have accomplished so far, there is the possibility that it could be really going somewhere, but the maturity of this team, the direction that Coach has you guys going, you've got 4 one-game seasons, hopefully more than that if things go right, but to make Texas State its own season, how does this team take another step forward on the road this weekend?
Man, just doing what we've been doing to prep every week and really just focus in on film and what they do, but not ignoring the details in what we do. I feel like some of our losses we've ignored, like what we do, and been so focused on the other team. And I think this week we just got to really focus on what we do and doing the small details over and over again.
It's been a lot of fun watching you improve from last year to this year, continued success, and best of luck this Saturday and the rest of the year.
Thank you.
That is Isaac Walker. He is a treat. We'll bring Coach Helton back up to preview Texas State after this timeout. Eagles and Bobcats, 5 o'clock Eastern on Saturday. This is Hail Southern Live, powered by Learfield.
Welcome to another bank. Please just say what you need help with.
Check my balance.
I heard pay a bill. Is that correct?
When you bank at Morris Bank, you won't be greeted with an automated response system or wonder if you're just another account number, because real relationships make community banking better. Morris Bank and Georgia Southern football were built on the same blue-collar mentality. And in Morris Bank, blue isn't just a part of our ad campaign, it's a part of our DNA. Morris Bank is proud to be the season presenting sponsor of Georgia Southern football. Bleed blue, bank blue. Morris Bank, member FDIC.
Hi, this is former quarterback Kyle Van Treese. Name, image, and likeness, or NIL in college sports, is here to stay. We have the opportunity to be one of the leaders in our conference and in the group of 5. To keep our championship standard and stay ahead of the rest, we must keep our best players and recruit the best as well. Thanks to the new Eagle Nation Collective, we're in a great position to do just that, but we can't do it without your support. Please help by becoming a member of the Eagle Nation Collective today. Sign up online at eaglenationnil.com and receive exclusive access to our student athletes that you can't get anywhere else. Join the Eagle Nation Collective at eaglenationnil.com.
Eagle Nation, don't miss the final home game of the regular season, Saturday, November 18th for Senior Day versus Old Dominion as we celebrate Ag Day. Call 1-800-GSU-WINS or visit gseagles.com/tickets. Watch the blue and white one more time inside the prettiest little stadium in America. Celebrate Ag Day on Saturday, November 18th versus Old Dominion as we honor the 2023 senior class. Call 1-800-GSU-WINS or visit gseagles.com/tickets.
Aw, shucks. The game's on TV, but I can't listen to the call of my favorite team broadcasters.
Never fear, Sync My Game is here.
Sync My Game?
Yes, Sync My Game. If you have a DVR and streaming device, head to syncmygame.com from Learfield. It's never been easier to hear the impassioned voices of your favorite radio crew synced with the TV.
Wow, thank you, Mr.
Just remember, syncmygame.com.
The Eagles fly here.
Intercepted. It's picked off. Condry Jackson to the 30. He outruns Bradley to the 20, to the 10, to the 5. How about that in the second play? Wings up, Eagle Nation. Touchdown, Georgia Southern.
Hail Southern and GATA all season long.
He caught it. He caught it. A lightning bolt, 79 yards to the jet.
On the Georgia Southern Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey y'all, this is Michael Felder, co-host of College Sports Now. We're breaking down all the action from around the country every week with new episodes dropping 4 days a week during the football season. We'll look beyond the box score and keep our finger on the pulse of college football from September all the way through the national championship game in January. Listen all season long on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you love to get your favorite podcast. And be sure to follow along on Twitter at CSNowTweets.
Powered by Learfield. Welcome back to Hail Southern Live, presented by Morris Bank. Make sure to tweet your questions to @GS Sports Network. Now, let's return live to Wild Wing Cafe. Once again, here's the voice of the Eagles, Danny Reed.
Just a few minutes left in this week's edition of Hail Southern Live, presented by Morris Bank. A reminder, we will have Hail Southern Live in this very spot next Monday, 7 to 8 p.m., internet only. You can listen on gseagles.com and the Varsity Network app. Terry Harbin will have the show for you as we'll be up in Atlanta to start Georgia Southern men's basketball's 2023 campaign against Georgia Tech. 7:30 Eastern tip. We'll be live at 7 all across the network with the Cutwater Spirits countdown to tip-off. Coach Helton, another road trip means another flight, which means another trip to your all-time favorite, Savannah Hilton Head International Airport.
Yeah, absolutely love Savannah. The people and just the service that they take care of us with, getting our team in and out of there. First class is best in the world.
FlySAV.com to find out more. FlySAV.com for Savannah Hilton Head International Airport, the official airport of Georgia Southern Athletics. And just going back to Isaac Walker for a moment, he says he's a boring guy, but he's not short on personality. I really enjoy him.
Well, I tell you what, our whole football team, it's been one of the most enjoyable years of my career just because of the people you're surrounded by. And Isaac is a great example of a guy that just shows up and works so hard consistently, but also has fun at it. He brings his personality. We really allow our guys to be themselves and to have fun within this game and have fun as a team. And he leads that. He brings great energy, great juice, and then also great play.
3 of the last 4 in the regular season are on the road. It starts with Texas State and San Marcos. This is a team that already has its most wins in 9 years, year 1 under G.J. Kinney. The offense is incredibly fast-paced. The defense is super aggressive. They're second in the country in total tackles for loss. They come in with that 5-3 mark, 2-2 in league play after the loss to Troy last weekend.
Yeah, G.J. is doing an unbelievable job, to transform a roster, 71 new men on that roster. Created a new football team and a new culture with new systems and played at a very, very high level. And you look at them 5-3 right now, battling on the west side right now at near the top of their division and fighting like heck to get to postseason. So you got 2 teams that have a lot at stake. Another big game. Always seems like that's that way in November. But what a college football game we have and a great atmosphere. I tell you what, credit to Coach Kenny and the atmosphere that they've created at their place. Man, it'll make a great college venue, and it should be an interesting and fun night.
When you examine an opposing offense that has scored 77 points in one game, 56 of that was in the first half against Jackson State, and then 50 in a conference game on the road against Southern Miss, how do they do it?
Well, they provide a lot of opportunities play-wise. So, they're averaging in the high 70s play-wise. They get the ball off extremely quick. They have 5 different playmakers on the field that spread the field, attack every inch of grass, and really make you make your one-on-one plays. And if you miss it, then it's going to be an explosive. Where they have lost games has been in the turnovers.
Yeah.
You look at Troy, which they were in that game going into the fourth quarter, then all of a sudden slipped away because of the turnovers. They've kind of stubbed their own toe. So our MO defensively has been to be able to get turnovers. That's been our key. 3 or more is equal to 6 wins. And so we've got to continue to be opportunistic when it comes to the ball.
We've talked a couple of times today about quarterback TJ Finley, who has played previously at LSU and Auburn, but Ishmael Mahdi has not come up yet. Their outstanding running back, the transfer from Houston Christian. He was a freshman All-American a year ago. Now he's leading the country in all-purpose yardage per game.
Yeah, it does a tremendous job, both as a returner and in their offense. Ultra dangerous. And one of the things that you see with their team, maybe the fastest team that we've played this year, as far as the quality of athletes and their speed. It's going to be a big challenge for our defense and for Coach Bailey in that secondary, because they can spread the field, and when you do spread the field, then they hand it to a really good tailback, and he can go the distance at any time.
Quickly, when you're facing a defense that takes that many chances offensively, how does it adjust what you're trying to do?
Well, the first thing you got to do is protect the quarterback, and you got to make the most of the opportunities in the run game. They're a heavy pressure team. It's their MO, especially as you get closer to the red zone. And so we've got to take great advantages of when we do get advantage coverages to run the ball, but also protect this quarterback, keep him upright, and when we do, he's pretty productive.
Coach, thanks as always. Great to see you again tonight. Thanks for bringing everybody out tonight to Wild Wing Cafe. We'll catch up with you in San Marcos.
Appreciate it, guys.
For head coach Clay Helton, Isaac Walker, Allyson, Sweeney, and Chris Affolter back at our studios. Danny Reed signing off from Wild Wing Cafe. 5 Eastern kickoff earlier this week in San Marcos. We'll be live at 3 from Bobcat Stadium. Georgia Southern and Texas State right here on the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield.